following programme is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language and flashing imagery.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. It's now time for the featured bout of the evening. From the four corners of the world, to the four corners of this ring, the fight starts now!
Good afternoon, everyone. We are live from the Pixel Gaming Centre here in Abu Dhabi. What a place this is for a press conference. We get around a little bit, but never anywhere quite like this. And what a place to have a press conference just a couple of days away from the light heavyweight championship action this Saturday night. The WBA holder Dmitry Bivol defends his title after one of the victories of the year against Canelo Alvarez against another Mexican in the 44-0 Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, live on Saturday night from the UAE on DAZN. Well, Darren Barker is back with me after being snatched away from the open workout yesterday to take a helicopter ride to Dubai. Some people are living the high life, but I'm glad you're back. You got there safely, you got back. So did you get a helicopter back or did you get a taxi back? Did you? 2 rides, wow. And he's done it. Survived.
I'll tell you what, it's like I got up from that body shot from Gil.
Because your life has changed for the better, isn't it?
That half a second makes such a difference.
And that is a reminder to all fighters, in those big moments, dig through.
Do your sit-ups.
This is the reward. Not Darren Barker, obviously, just a nicer life. Cool, so we've got a big press conference yesterday. Saw the fighters go through the open workout. Some big fights on this card. Let's talk a little bit about the undercard first, because we're going to be hearing from them at the press conference before we speak to the main eventers. Khalid Jafar, let's big Oscar De La Hoya arriving. Gilberto Ramirez's promoter. That is live, so he is entering the building as we speak. He had a picture with Eddie Hearn. They had some back and forths on Twitter, but all fair in love and war, as it always is in boxing. Khalid Jafar back on the card, opening the show on Saturday night against Gerald Paklar. I spoke to him yesterday. Obviously, the former WBA super flyweight champion is going to be campaigning at 118 pounds, and I think we sense that if Inoue does the job on Paul Butler, he's expected to. He'll go up to 122, splinter those belts. And Jafar said, I'm not interested in British titles at 118, European titles. I want to get straight back into championship action. And if those belts do get splintered, for him, a big opportunity to become a two-weight world champion next year.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a great talent. He's a great man. The whole of the Jafars are. It's just, he's got to be a little patient. But he set his goals high. He's been a former world champion, made numerous defences. He wants to get straight back in the mix with those big guys. But he's been out over 2 years, so he's got to be careful. He needs 2 or 3 fights, like we alluded to yesterday. But I'd love to see him back in the mix. At that top level. He's, like I say, ticks all the boxes for me, Cal.
His younger brother, Khalid Jafar, Olympic gold medalist, one of the standout performers from the Tokyo Games. In his 3rd fight against Gohan Garcia, he was due to box about 5 weeks ago on the Eubank Ben undercard, didn't for obvious reasons. They are fast-tracking him, and kind of signs that he may fight for a British and Commonwealth title as early as kind of spring next year. And speaking to Khalid Jafar, who of course has fought at World Championship level, 1 world title's been there, done it. Sonny Edwards too, spent many rounds with the young man that you can see there, and there is Khalid Jafar behind him. Cal says he's definitely got the minerals to go all the way, and I've no doubt he'll be world champion within probably the next 18 months. Yeah,
I mean, he's got all the talent in the world. We've seen that. Just to qualify for the Olympics is a feat in itself, let alone win it. So yeah, he can certainly go all the way, I've no doubt. It's just about getting rounds under his belt.
Talking about winning big fights, what a victory for this man against Canelo Alvarez on Cinco de Mayo, the most coveted date in the boxing calendar. And well, he just made it look so easy in the end when Canelo has given hell to some very good fighters. The Caleb Plant victory has aged well, Billy Joe Saunders too, but this man just dealt with him in a way that nobody really has been able to since Floyd Mayweather. And of course that was at a completely different time of his life, at a completely different weight, under different circumstances altogether. That will go down as one of the victories of the year for Bivol, and he has a chance to really capitalise and have another standout win. If he beats Gilberto Ramirez as well in good fashion on Saturday, he could be in with a shout for fighter of the year, Bivol, couldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he's creeping right up those pound for pound rankings. He really is. I mean, it was a tremendous night in Vegas. He'd done so well, and I've touched on it. I think aside from the performance, what I was so impressed with was the way he dealt with the pressure. You know, going in there against, yes, a legend, a modern day great, but someone who's lighter than him, and there was a lot of pressure. It was all the fanfare was on Canelo. How would he deal with this occasion? And he did with flying colours. He got in there, he was disciplined with his game plan. He had the final say in all the exchanges. He wouldn't let Canelo, and I guess with the judging in Vegas, what we've heard about so many times, he wasn't going to let that scupper his plans of being the next big thing. And it was tremendous. It was a really, really good performance, physically, tactically, and mentally on the night. And look, if he gets past Ramirez on Saturday, which I'm edging towards Bivol, I do think he wins this fight. I think he's tested at the higher level. Then again, Ramirez could come out and we could be like, wow, this guy really is the real deal. That's what makes it so mouthwatering for me. And then we've got the potential unification fight with Beterbiev, which would be unbelievable.
One of the biggest fights in boxing, that. So one of the biggest performances of the year so far from Dmitry Bivol, one of the knockouts of the year for Joe Cordina, who was stripped of his IBF super featherweight world title after that victory over Kenichi Ogawa, of course, the hand injury, taking him out to some point next year. And so the vacant title is up for grabs between Zelfa Barrett, the new European champion at 130, and Shavkat Rakhimov, Freddie Roach's fighter from the wildcard gym. Very, very dangerous fight this for Zelfa Barrett, but he seems mentally in a very, very different place. And the two performances he's had against Bruno Trimo and, of course, Korbanov in the summer, good 12-round fights to get him prepared for a championship night of his life. And I think the sense from both of us is that he may have to work through a very difficult patch at some point in this fight, and it could come down to how much he's got and how deep he can dig, because Shavkat Rakhimov is a dangerous man.
Absolutely. He puts everything into every shot. He's a danger man. But there's this aura of confidence around Zelfa Barrett. He feels this is his time.
It really
he's dealt with some grief outside the ring. He's not had it easy. He's fighting for, you know, the loss of his mother, etc. He really feels he's got an extra % in there. He's got someone behind him who's going to really help him fulfill his dream. And, you know, the pot of gold is really huge for Zelfa Barrett, who, look, if he can become world champion and then he goes back home, whether it be Manchester or Cardiff, to defend that title in a huge fight against Joe Cordina.
We just saw the belts there. Good work from our camera team. That just segues me nicely into our next topic of conversation, which is our chief supporter, Chantel Cameron and Jessica McCaskill will contest the undisputed super lightweight championships of the world. Of course, Kaylee Reese was the holder of 2 of those belts, but big news for her this year. She landed a part in True Detective season 4. Now, I don't know if you've seen this, one of my favourite seasons, one of my favourite TV series ever, and she has landed a massive part in a blockbuster season. And I think opportunities like that, they have to be big to take you away from fighting for undisputed titles. But fair play to Kaylee Reese. We know her well. She's a great person, and she's off to take that opportunity. So those belts are vacant, and that has left a massive opportunity for Jess McCaskill, the undisputed champion at 147. She made 3 defences of her title already, including, of course, Cecilia Breaker, so she won the title off in good style a couple of years ago. 38 now, Jess McCaskill, doesn't look it, and she's coming back down to 140. I think a more natural weight for her, and of course originally came up from 135. So speaking to her yesterday, she said the weight isn't a problem for me. We'll expect her to start fast. Who do you edge as a favourite in this contest?
Toss of a coin.
It is, isn't it?
Really is. And I feel this could match Taylor Serrano. I really do feel it could be that good of a fight. When I look at them stylistically and I put them in opposite corners, I just feel it's going to gel instantly, and I think it could be fight of the night.
3 of the greatest women's fights of all time in 1 year. Shields, Marshall, Taylor Serrano, and potentially Chantel Cameron and Jess McCaskill. McCaskill said to me yesterday, I said, what are her strengths and weaknesses? She said, I haven't watched a lot of her, but she said she likes to run. And I kind of felt that was a little bit unfair. I think Cameron has tried to box a little bit more of late and show the skills that she has, but we know she's no stranger and not shy from standing and holding her feet and trading, and at some point that is going to happen in this contest.
I've absolutely no doubt. You've just got to see McCaskill, the way she approaches fights. Certainly last time out it was just a 3-round destruction, and she just went hell for leather, had her head down, she was swinging in shots, educated pressure, don't get me wrong, but she really does let her hands go. Chantel Cameron, she has that fire in her eyes too. She wants to get stuck in. I do feel with the tutelage and the know-how of her coach Jamie Moore, and Nigel Travers, they will try and get her to be sensible, work behind the jab and be smart. But like you said there, and I think it will happen early on, I think styles will gel.
Well, Cameron said to me, she said, I like to entertain the crowd. So she can make this as easy or as difficult as she wants, but the win for her is important as it is for both girls. So before the bell starts, 6 p.m. Local time here on Yas Island, which is 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon if you're in the UK, 10 a.m. Eastern if you're in the US, 6 a.m. Pacific. The main card 9:30, so that's 5 p.m. UK, 1:30 Pacific, 9:30 a.m. Sorry, not 1:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. That is all from us. We're going to hand over to the press conference. Eddie Hearn is standing by with all our fighters from the undercard. Let's hear from them now.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure and an honour to be here in Abu Dhabi at the incredible Pixel facility here, new e-gaming facility and centre. The first time any major event has been held here, and an incredible turnout ahead of what is a historic moment for the sport of boxing, of course, for Abu Dhabi, for matchroom boxing as well. A few months back, of course, we had the vision when we sat down with DCT to change the face of boxing here, to make Abu Dhabi a destination for the elite level of the sport. On Saturday night, we bring you an incredible night of boxing. There's a lot of talk at the moment about fights falling through, not happening. Saturday night is a celebration of how great this sport is. Of course, the main event, Dmitry Bivol, the WBA World Light Heavyweight Champion, now on the pound-for-pound list after his victory against Canelo Alvarez, against the former super middleweight world champion, Zurdo Ramirez, 44-0. This is one of the best fights in boxing, but not just one of the best fights in boxing, one of the best cards in boxing, top to bottom. When we wanted to come here, when we sat down with the DCT, we wanted to make an impression. We wanted to show the people here and around the world on DAZN how great this sport is. This undercard is sensational. Of course, women's boxing on fire right now. Off the back of Taylor Serrano at Madison Square Garden, Shields Marshall at the O2, we have a fight that I believe could potentially top them all. The undisputed world welterweight championship between Jessica McCaskill and Chantel Cameron. The IBF Super Featherweight World Championship between Rakimov and Zelfa Barrett. Olympic gold medalist Galal Yafai, former world champion Cal Yafai, Campbell Hatton, Aqib Fiaz, Emirati fighters looking to progress onto the world stage as well. This is an incredible night of boxing at the Etihad Arena, and we cannot wait to get the Champion Series underway with the DCT here in Abu Dhabi. It's a big moment for us at Matchroom Boxing and a big moment for the sport. As we said, from top to bottom, the development of boxing here in the region. This is not just about bringing big names and big events to Abu Dhabi. This is about the development of the sport, something we're very passionate about. From grassroots to the elite level, increasing participation, showing people how important boxing is to the development of the younger generation. We want to see more gyms, more facilities, more opportunities for local fighters to progress through the amateur code at world championship level to Olympic level, and to see some of these fighters progress on the world scene as well. 3 Emirati fighters on Saturday night in action. 2 of them are with us today. Fahad, we'll start with you. I saw you yesterday at the media workout. You got some serious star potential. You had a smile on your face. What an opportunity for you to be part of this huge show on Saturday night.
Thank you everyone for coming through. First, I just want to say thank you to Ahmed Siddiqui for putting me on this amazing platform, and thank you, Eddie, for also hosting me here. I'm just really excited to be in such a big platform, to perform at a big stage, not just any stage, but Etihad Arena with Matchroom, to showcase my talent to the people of the UAE. You know, this is a big dream for me, and it's a big come true, so I just want to thank you all for the opportunity.
We've seen boxing progress in the Middle East here. How important is these kind of big shows to your development, to the opportunity to Emirati fighters as well, and obviously looking to make a statement on this huge world scene, and box internationally as well on major fight cards?
I think that's what we need. We just need a couple names to be boxing at a high level stage, which shows kids like, I want to be like that person. Because if it's all underground, then there's nothing to be heard of. But if there's a name, if there's a voice at a stage that's this big, then it's a good opportunity for kids to be like, hey, I want to be like that fighter over there. I want to grow up to be like him. Let me work my way to go to a boxing gym and learn what to do, and hopefully I can become like that one day.
Well, glad to give you the opportunity on Saturday night. Majid, welcome. Another big opportunity for you as well. I'm sure, you know, undefeated fighter, you've watched these big shows, these big names now. Finally, World Championship boxing here in Abu Dhabi. It's a big moment for the region.
Thank you, Eddie. I want to thank Matchroom. I want to thank you, Eddie, Frank, all the guys around this great event. Thank you guys for having me. DCT, Kane's Academy, Ghadar Boxing, my coach. I love you. Thank you for everything you did to me. Honestly, I can't wait for Saturday night. I want to show these gentlemen what I got. It's a hard business, Eddie. You know that. I'll not been here from long time. 7 years I've been hustling, and it's time to show what I have. I got nothing to say. I just want to enjoy the moment. I want to fight. I want to give it all. Saturday night, November 5th. Yeah.
We look forward to seeing you in action. We go to two other very impressive undefeated fighters. Firstly, Campbell Hatton. Campbell, seeing you with a big smile on your face all week. I think I speak for you and many of us coming over from England. What a place, facilities, weather, restaurants, you know, hospitality, everything. We're very lucky to be here, and I've seen that across your social media this week. You've been enjoying yourself, obviously focused ahead of Saturday night, but you know, I'm sure I speak for yourself and everyone when I say this is a wonderful opportunity for all of us to be here.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's like a little holiday for us. It's obviously the mind's on the job when we're training and we've got the gloves on, and fight night, the mind will be well and truly on the job. But for staying relaxed and keeping a cool head for the fight, we couldn't have it much better. We've been sat round the pool, and me and Matt need the sun, so it's been great for us, and just looking forward to putting in a relaxed performance on Saturday as well.
Is that the key, being relaxed? You know, you've had to go out in front of huge crowds, 70,000 at Tottenham. You've boxed a little bit more under the radar internationally now as well. But looking relaxed, seeing you at the workout last night, just learning and understanding to stay calm and taking the most of these opportunities.
Yeah, so we've been seeing improvements, and again, it's because I've been more relaxed, but I've still reverted back to going into tear-up mode a little bit and trying to do a little bit too much, whereas I can't keep saying we're seeing glimpses and it's coming, and like anything other than a relaxed performance from start to finish this weekend won't be good enough. And I've got a good opponent who's going to be aggressive and help me show off more of a skillful side of my game, which I've not shown as much as I'd like to yet.
I guess finally the pressure has always been there for you, but at this moment, having had that experience now, there's probably more pressure to start producing better performances, because we can't say you're no longer just a rookie. We know you're still starting out, fairly limited amateur experience, but ultimately you're getting deep now in terms of fights, and before we know it, we'll be in 8-rounders and 10-rounders, and it starts to get real serious.
Yeah, so we're seeing it all in the gym, like we've been saying, but again, it's not good enough. So coming into this one, I wanted to go exactly how I've been starting my last few fights and maintaining it all the way through. We've seen gradual improvements, but this time we want a big one.
Thanks, Campbell. Aqib Fiaz, another young man that's been smiling a lot this week. Obviously, a huge ticket seller back home in the UK, but incredible to be part of this historic night. I know you don't take it for granted as well, and looking to put a great performance together on Saturday.
Yeah, I had a smile on my face all week, like you said. I'm having it off here. I can't believe I'm here. I didn't believe I'd be here until Monday. I've got quite a few people coming over as well. Thank you, Eddie, for the opportunity. I'm just ready to put on a show on Saturday. I cannot wait to go.
Obviously, your development back home's been stop-start for a number of reasons, but now staying active and a big 2023 coming up. I know you want to finish it off out here as well, but a quick word on, obviously, Zelfa from Manchester as well, but your teammate Chantel and Jamie Moore here, Nigel Travis. There's a great feeling in the camp, as there always is in that gym as well, but a big weekend for all of you.
Yeah, massive. I posted a picture yesterday of me and Zelfa sparring 6 years ago, and it was exactly to the day yesterday in the Collier's gym, and I was talking to Pat, and we was talking about how people never show you where they come from. They always show you where they are and what they're doing, so you take nothing for granted, but God's been kind. Alhamdulillah, you know, we're here, and I'm just ready to go on Saturday. It's going to be a big night for all of us, yeah. Thank
you, Aqib and Campbell, two of the UK's brightest prospects. We go to a man who I'm delighted to see back, Cal Yafai, former WBA World Super Flyweight Championship with a multitude of defences to his name, one of our first world champions coming through from the GB squad, from the Olympic team as well. Cal, big moment for you. It's been a long time now you've been out for. I have to say, I wasn't sure after a while whether you would be back. Your last fight was against the legend, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez, but time to make a charge now for the bantamweight division and try and become a two-weight world champion.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but I'm glad, I'm happy. I can't wait for Saturday night. Two-weight world champion. And I know you're the man to make it happen, but Saturday night, got to get the business done.
It's funny, you know, obviously with the development of Gamal, your brother, you two were fighting together. He went and won domestic titles, European titles as well. And then your other brother, Galal, comes up, just rocks in undercover with a little Olympic gold medal as well. It's been an incredible journey for the entire family and plenty left for all of you, of course, as Galal starts his journey. But you again and Gamal as well, an incredible fighting family, great story and a huge opportunity to fight out here in the Middle East.
Yeah, it's massive for us. You know, we're Arab family. It's a pleasure to be here, and I wouldn't mind fighting here again. I've been loving it so far. Abu Dhabi's been great to us this week, and yeah, just can't wait for Saturday.
Well, former world champion Cal Yafai makes his charge to become a two-weight, two-division world champion. His opponent, Gerald Paklar. Gerald, welcome. A big opportunity for you. You're fighting a man that has been out of the ring for a long time, and this is an opportunity for you to get a shot at the world title.
Thank you.
That's good. Just talk.
Thank you so much, sir. 6-month preparation of a fight, Khalid fight, because of a long time sparring partner, because Coach Jerwin Angkahas, and 6-month preparation, sir.
Oh, thank you, Gerald, and
thank you, sir.
very good English as well. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well done. Well done. Gohan, yeah, a round of applause, I think, for that. Gohan Rodriguez, your job is a tough assignment on Saturday night. You fight what I feel is probably the best prospect in the sport right now via your translator. Fighting a guy that's 2-0, but an Olympic gold medalist as well. A huge opportunity for you on Saturday night.
Bueno. Dice, te pregunta sobre la gran oportunidad que tienes de enfrentar a un boxeador olímpico, medallista de oro. ¿Cuál es tu opinión sobre esta oportunidad?
Bueno, primero que nada, buenas tardes a todos ustedes. Volviendo a la pregunta, muy agradecido. Siento que es una muy buena oportunidad para mí. Y lo único que puedo decir ante toda la pelea es que voy a subir a dar lo mejor de mí y los ganadores va a ser el público, porque espero brindarme al 100% y sea de su agrado.
He said, well, first of all, thank you to everybody for being here, for the opportunity. And he says he's going to get into the ring and give everything he has. And the winners will be the public, because they will see a good fight because he's giving everything he has.
Gohan, we have been promoting shows in Mexico, the heart, the history of boxing in Mexico. If you beat Galal Yafai on Saturday, it's very likely you will fight Julio Cesar Martinez, Jesse Rodriguez, maybe even Estrada. Victory here would change your life.
Dice que hemos estado promoviendo funciones en México. Dice que bueno, que en caso de ganar esta noche, entonces tu vida cambiaría, porque estarías enfrentando a boxeadores como Rey Martínez, Jesse Rodríguez, tal vez Estrada. Entonces, ¿qué opinas de eso?
Bueno, pues que me diga eso me pone muy feliz. Creo que esa es la oportunidad que cualquier boxeador estaría esperando en su carrera. Y como lo dije, voy a dar lo mejor de mí. Espero obtener el resultado por el cual se ha trabajado y lograr el objetivo por el que venimos.
He says, well, it makes me very happy to hear that from you. That's the opportunity that every fighter would be looking for. So I hope that on Saturday I get the result that I've been working for.
Thank you very much, Gohan. Galal Yafai, Olympic gold medalist. I'm sorry about that. I've got him really fired up now. to win on Saturday night, so sorry about that, but tough. This young man, in my opinion, is one of the greatest prospects in world boxing. The way that he breezed through to win Olympic gold medal in Japan, an incredible fighter, someone that I believe can go on, not just become a world champion, but a multi-division world champion. 2-0 already, and when we started this journey with him, we didn't want 6-rounders or 8-rounders. There was no need. He went straight into championship fights. He debuted at the O2 Arena. He won the WBC international title. He then went and boxed at Madison Square Garden on the Taylor Serrano card, and now in Abu Dhabi, his third fight as he closes in on his first world title shot. Galal, welcome. Of course, supposed to fight on the Ben Eubank card a couple of weeks ago. A small delay, but an incredible opportunity out here. I'm sure you've been enjoying the week, and a real tough fight for you on Saturday night.
Yeah, thanks for putting me on such a great show. I really appreciate it. It's brilliant to be on a good show, and Abu Dhabi, it's a brilliant country. I'm with my brother Cal and all these other great fighters. I've got a tough fight Saturday, but hoping to get through that and just move forward.
I know you let me do the talking for you. You're ice cold and ice cool, but the experiences you've had so far, obviously winning gold in the Olympics in Japan, but moving forward at the O2 and particularly Madison Square Garden as well, that was a great performance. You breezed through that opponent. That was supposed to be a step up, another step up for you on Saturday, but you must feel like you're closing in on these guys. And when you look at the division, Julio Cesar Martinez, Sonny Edwards, Bam Rodriguez now coming back to flyweight. There's some mega fights out there for you, but got to take care of business continuously on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm professional. I don't want to look past this guy Saturday. It's meant to be a step up, but it's only a step up if I make it difficult for myself. But sometimes I think, I don't know if you are putting the pressure on me or you think I'm actually that good. I don't know if it's a compliment or not, but I just got to keep winning, keep looking good, and maybe I can fight those guys in the future.
I definitely think you're that good.
I really appreciate it.
And I look forward to seeing you on Saturday night.
Cheers.
Watch this young man, Galal Yafai, in action, incredible fighter. We go to the 2 World Championship fights on the undercard press conference before we go to Bivol against Ramirez. You may or may not know the story here. Joe Caldina, who produced one of the performances of the year to knock out Agawa to win the IBF Super Featherweight World title, was due to fight this man, Shavkat Rakhimov, for the defence of his IBF World title here in Abu Dhabi. Unfortunately, Joe broke his hand in the first spar back, first punch of the first spar, and the IBF made the decision to strip him. Controversial decision. We understand the rules, but I'm delighted to say that both fighters, Zelfa and Shavkat, have both signed to fight Joe Caldina next when they, or should they, win on Saturday night here in Abu Dhabi. That's the history. Now we focus on the present. This fight, an incredible fight. Former world champion Shavkat Rakhimov against Manchester's Zelfa Barrett, a man who's been going through the gears, winning European titles, looking for the opportunity. This opportunity came fairly surprisingly for Zelfa Barrett, but what a chance for Britain to crown another world champion. Zelfa, welcome. You've looked ice cold this week as well. I know you were training for a fight. We didn't expect it to be a world championship fight. I think you had 6 weeks of actual notice, even though you're in the gym, but you seem so ready for this moment on Saturday night. You're the underdog in this fight against a very talented fighter, but on Saturday night, after all the years of work, we talk about the pictures with Aqib Fiaz, the grind in Manchester with your uncle Pat Barrett. You could become world champion, and you truly believe you will this weekend.
Yeah, no doubt. I do believe I'll be a world champion. I'm in the ring with a great fighter. Rakhimov is a good fighter. I've studied him. He's got good trainers behind him, but I believe in myself. I've been in the gym. This is the moment I've been waiting for all my life. Every single tool out my box is going to come out. So I'm cool and I'm ready. It's going to happen, and I'm ready to be a world champion.
Everything you've spoke about, it's almost like a visualization of this moment. We know it's been a tough period for you over the last couple of years with the passing of your mother. I see her proudly around your neck there as well. It's almost like you feel like everything's meant to be for this moment. I know she'll be there to support you in spirit on Saturday night, but just almost like an inner belief that this is your moment as a family, obviously with her as well, with Pat, just the moment of destiny for you on Saturday.
Yeah, timing is everything in life. It's just funny how it happened. With Joe, his hand, and then he got stripped, and then I'm next up. When I was thinking about the real side of boxing, I was thinking, I could be a world champion next year, later on. Joe will fight Rakhimov. I'll get the winner. There might be a unification fight, so I might have to wait again. So it's just come at the right time. Like I said, I've been in the gym, I've been ready, I've been training. You know, my time is now.
You've got silky skills, you've got one punch knockout power as well. This guy is very tough, can punch, very aggressive. You're going to have to go to some dark, deep places on Saturday, but by looking in your eyes, you're ready to do just that.
Yeah, no doubt. He's a very good fighter. You know, respect him as a fighter. You know, he won the IBO world title. I keep saying it, he's a good fighter, but, you know, I believe in myself. This level is about belief. It's not about anything else. And I believe in myself. I truly believe I'll be a world champion. I believe it. You know, and what a way to do it against a good fighter.
Thank you, Zelfa. We go to Shavkat Rakhimov via translator, Max. A big opportunity. You've been waiting a long time for this opportunity. A different opponent, but same goal on Saturday night to become IBF world champion.
1, 2, 3. Шавкат, большая возможность для тебя. Долго ты этого ждал. Конечно, другой оппонент. Вот, но все те же цели. Ну, вот в целом, как бы, что ты можешь сказать?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello, everybody. First, I would like to say Alhamdulillah, all praise and all glory to Allah. Thank you, my team. We are ready 100%. We come here to take the belt, inshallah.
Maybe I can go?
That's good, we got it. The next question, Max, is for a long time people have been talking about Shavkat Rakhimov as a great fighter. Sometimes he's been there, sometimes he's not been there, but the word is out of the wild card with Freddie Roach. This time he's really ready.
Долгое время говорили про тебя, что ты очень хороший боец, где-то ты был как бы вот в этом поле топовых, где-то чуть-чуть вне, вот, но что ты вообще можешь об этом сказать, как бы о своей позиции? И все знают, что ты боец wildcard, боец, которого тренирует Фредди Роуч.
Это уже могу на русском сказать, да?
Да, это просто общий посыл, не конкретный вопрос, просто как бы как для рассуждения твоего.
Не знаю, что могу сказать. Я готов на все 100. И большое уважение моему сопернику, что подошел к этому бою. И я готов на все 100. И я хочу показать себя на мировом уровне, на высшем уровне.
Well, first of all, I want to demonstrate myself at the top world level. Yeah, and big respect to my opponent. You know, I'm just trying to perform in the best that I can, and definitely I'm the top of this weight, as you said, and I'm still there.
Thank you, Shavkat. Thank you, Zelfa. Tremendous fight. The IBF Super Featherweight World Championship on Saturday night. And this one, for me, could well be fight of the night. The undisputed World Super Lightweight Championship between Jessica McCaskill and Chantel Cameron. You see all the belts beneath us. I've got to say right now, women's boxing is putting men's boxing to shame. You know, you talk about Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. You talk about Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis. Yet continuously, almost week in, week out, we see tremendous female matchups. It looks like it's more about legacy, and rightfully so. The money is now there in the sport. There's still a long way to go. But the female fighters continue to step up to try and unify the division, to try and become undisputed, and to try and prove themselves as the best. I feel like, as a fight fan, every division in boxing should have one undisputed champion, and we're seeing that across so many weight classes in women's boxing, and hopefully we continue to see that in male and female boxing. But one thing, as we keep saying, we keep talking about male and female boxing. At the end of the day, it's just boxing, and right now female boxing appears to be even more exciting than male boxing. On Saturday night, you'll get a great showcase of that, from Taylor Serrano to Shields Marshall to Alicia Baumgardner, who's here today, another huge star in the sport. This fight, for me, could top all of those on Saturday night. Jessica McCaskill, who I feel has never really had the respect that she deserves in boxing. She came over as really a novice to fight Katie Taylor for the World Championship at 135 pounds, gave her one of her toughest fights, moved up to 140, won the World Championship there, unified the division at 140, moved up to 147, which she never should have been in that weight class, beat one of the greatest fighters of all time in Cecilia Brackhouse to become the undisputed welterweight world champion, and on Saturday night has a chance to become a two-division undisputed champion. Jessica, welcome. You've wanted this fight for a long time. You and Rick Ramos have been on the grind for a long time. I feel like you're finally getting the recognition you deserve, but Saturday night, we should say it louder, an opportunity for you to become a two-weight undisputed world champion.
I'm very excited about the opportunity. It's definitely a dream come true. And once you get to that level, obviously you start thinking about, okay, what's the next biggest thing? And, you know, for right now, being here in Abu Dhabi, it's such a pleasure. Everybody's been so nice and we've had such an amazing time. But when you talk about the fight itself, I have to say, Chantel, I don't think you really understand what you're getting yourself into for Saturday. The last girl that I fought, she begged her coach to stop the fight. She argued with her coach after 3 rounds because she thought she was going to die. She wanted to go home to her kids. And it's just like, now I'm moving down in weight, and I hope you don't think I'm not going to bring that power. Like, it's coming on Saturday. So I just, you know, like the gentleman said on the end, this is the hurt business, and I'm very good at my job. I take it very seriously.
The fight against Ibarra was quite stunning. I mean, she was someone that was very highly rated in Mexico. She was huge. The reality is you can still make 135. And I feel like the shape that you're in at 140 is a completely different, you know, shape. You look like a different animal that you were up at fighting for your undisputed at 147. Chantel talks about her ability to adapt her style to box off the back foot, to fight on the inside with you. We know what you're going to bring, right? I guess, are you happy to say that's what you're going to bring? You're going to bring all action, all aggressive. And you've said this is going to be total destruction on Saturday night. You're going to end this fight inside the distance.
I did say it was going to be total mass destruction. A lot of my fighting that you guys see is based off of the opponent and the ways that they want to run or the ways that they want to hold. And so that's just kind of the show that you guys get. You know, Candy Wyatt, shout out to her. She's probably the only person that I fought that hasn't held. And you guys got to see 10 punch combinations and a lot of footwork and a lot of movement. So that's not something I get to display all the time, because a lot of times the girls feel my power and then they can't handle it and then they hold. So I have to be aggressive. I have to fight myself out of the clinch. I have to get my points in. I have to get my shots in. So, you know, it just kind of depends on the opponent, on what kind of fight that I bring. But I'm going to come forward. I'm going to bring power and I'm going to bring pressure.
Do you expect Chantel to stand and fight with you? We've seen her mix it up in fights. Tremendous fight to unify the division at 140. Boxed a little bit more and moved a little bit more in her last fight. Do you expect her to stand there in the pocket and trade with you?
No, I expect some expert exit strategies and a lot of drifting off. And, you know, everybody says, yeah, I'm going to bang, I'm going to throw, I'm going to sit with you and throw punches, and it never really happens. So, you know, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens on Saturday.
But for you, finally, you believe only one winner on Saturday night. Chance for you to become undisputed champion at 140. We know huge fights ahead, but it's going to be a tough assignment. Chantel Cameron, very highly rated, unified champion at 140. But you believe Jessica McCaskill, victory on Saturday night without doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt. But I mean, obviously, this is the top level. We're both world champions. This isn't, you know, just kind of a tune-up or anything like that. This is a serious fight, and this is something that I'm sure we're both not looking past. But, you know, make sure you guys tune in on Saturday, because it's going to be great.
Chantel, you've wanted this for a long time. We really created the tournament at 140 for you to get an opportunity to become undisputed. It's taken longer than we anticipated, but we have a bigger fight, a bigger stage. I think you've both made comments such as, I can't wait to punch her in the face, and you're only a couple of days from getting the opportunity to do that on Saturday night.
Yeah, firstly, thanks for making this undisputed fight. Obviously, I wanted it for a long time. And what a place Abu Dhabi is, it's unbelievable. My team, we're all having a great time. But Jessica, you think you're going to hurt me? Your face, when I land the first shot, we'll see. So that when I land on your chin, we're going to see your face drop. I'm telling you now, so we'll see. And anyway, talk sheep. I've done all my hard work, so I'm enjoying this week, enjoying this moment, and bring on Saturday and shut her up.
Everybody knows how much you do love to stand and fight. There's going to be a lot of emotion, there's going to be a lot on the line. I know Jamie Moore is a master tactician. I saw you on the workout last night, great movement, but ultimately I do get the feeling this fight's going to catch fire quite quickly. Are you prepared as well? And I know there might not be for the whole fight, but stand in the pocket and trade with Jessica McCaskill. She is a big puncher, she has a great work rate as well, but you're happy to mix it up and stand and fight at any moment in this fight?
100%. She's talking about this, her last fight, last opponent. I was watching and it was boring. And to be fair to the girl, she stopped, but it was boring to watch anyway. So yeah, I'm going to stand there, I'm going to trade, I'm going to do all. I'm going to be in every single department.
Does part of you want to win this fight by stoppage as well? I know you have to listen to Jamie and Nigel, but you know, knockout performances, specifically in women's boxing as well, would be a major statement, and to win this fight via knockout would be a big statement to the world of women's boxing.
Yeah, stopping her, I think, God, I'll get such a good round of applause because they just talk too much. They don't show anyone respect, and yeah, it'd be great to pipe her down.
And finally, just a word on, I know you're focused on Saturday, but the potential. People have talked about Chantel Cameron for a long time in women's boxing. You have to get the opportunities. You have to make the statement on the big stages as well. But this is it. It's on a plate for you on Saturday night. And what a time to do it in women's boxing with Taylor Serrano, with Shields Marshall, with Alicia Baumgardner. Just a massive, really a life-changing moment for you at the weekend.
Yeah, women's boxing's booming, and some of the women boxing fights have been unbelievable. So I'm hoping Saturday. She's saying about holding and all that, but what I've seen, she's the one doing the holding, so hopefully I can make sure that I get out of her little clinches and do what I do best and put on a good show.
And the final word from both of you, Chantel. Undisputed world champion on Saturday. No doubt in your mind you win this fight in style.
Yeah, 16 fights, 16 wins, and the new undisputed champion of the world.
And Jessica, finally from you, full of confidence. Both of you sound very, very confident. A victory on Saturday night. She says you're going to feel the power when it first lands. You've walked through a lot in your career, ready to walk through Chantel Cameron at the weekend.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Saturday, but I would like to give a shout out to Rick Ramos and my team back there.
Thank you very much, Chantel Cameron. Jessica McCaskill, the undisputed World Super Lightweight Championship. I cannot wait for that fight. I cannot wait for Rakimov against Barrett. I cannot wait for one of the best prospects, Olympic gold medalist Galal Yafai, the return of Cal Yafai as he goes to try and become a two-time world champion. Great prospects across the board, Emirati prospects, Campbell Hatton, Aqib Fiaz, and of course, the main event, one of the best in boxing. On Saturday night, you're going to see a new era for boxing here in Abu Dhabi, one of the cards of the year. As we break now to go into the main event press conference, we're going to have head-to-heads with the fighters up here. We'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Eddie. Well, two worthy fights as chief support in their own rights, Barrett Rakimov and Cameron McCaskill. Let's talk a little bit about the chief support first. McCaskill only been defeated twice, but one was a kind of very early on a 4-round against Katonya Fisher. She was dropped in a 4-rounder, so mathematically once you've had a 10-8 in a 4-rounder, almost impossible to win. But that aside, against Katie Taylor a few years ago, it was at York Hall. Kind of weird to think of Katie Taylor boxing at York Hall these days, but she was. And you were actually on commentary that night for the UK broadcast, which I'd forgotten. I watched it back. Katie dealt with her in, I suppose, the kind of the matador to the ball, pot shot on her from the outside, counter right hand, that kind of check left hook and using it to spin out. If that's the blueprint, we won't see that as a kind of replica from Chantel Cameron on Saturday night, but there's going to be elements of how she approaches the fight on Saturday in that way, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel box fighting is the correct way to beat McCaskill, and what I mean by that is, you know, a lot of boxing gets done on the back foot, but I feel you can still be the aggressor but also counter punching. So be on the front foot, you know, don't get greedy with the shots, no need to exchange with McCaskill. I think keep the shots straight, sorry. I think they'll get to the target quicker. McCaskill does like to load up, gets wild and wide at times. So I think it's important for Chantel to to be very disciplined. But like she said there, I do think we'll see a little bit of everything. I think she'll attempt to try and box, but she will get dragged into a fight at some point in this fight.
Of course, the unknown variable for McCaskill, as I mentioned earlier, she's coming back down to 140 pound, having not made the weight for almost exactly 3 years when she last fought and defended the unified WBA and WBC titles against Erica Farias. Second time they'd met, of course. She's 38 now, she was 35 then. Gut instinct, though, looking at it, doesn't seem like a problematic weight for her because she came up from 135 in the first place. Of course, it's never ideal coming back down. We saw the heroics from Nonito Donaire about 2-3 years ago, coming all the way back to 118, having been up at 126 at the age of, I think, 37 or 38. I suppose if you come up from naturally being a smaller fighter, that shouldn't hinder her too much. Would you expect her to be the more physical presence in this fight? You expect Cameron to have to spend large portions on the back foot as a result of McCaskill's pressure?
I'm not sure, if I'm honest, and that's one of the interesting things I look forward to seeing play out from the first bell, Chris.
So our undercard fighters will be kicking things off at 6 p.m. local time here in Abu Dhabi. That's 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon if you're watching us in the UK. If you're in the US, 10 a.m. Eastern and 6 a.m. Pacific for the early risers stateside. There'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the 5, I beg your pardon, on the bill. Majid Al Nakbi and John Lawrence O'Donio. Fahad Al Blushi will be in action as well. 3 Emirati fighters, Sultan Al Nuaimi as well, and Campbell Hatton and Akif Fiaz will be joining them on the card. And the return of former WBA super flyweight champion on the left of your screen, Cal Yafai, who made 6 defences in a 3-year span up until just before the start of the global pandemic in 2020, where he came up against the legend in Chocolatito and had a brilliant war with him for 9 rounds, has to be said. But unfortunately, you have to stand and trade with Chocolatito at your peril. And he rolled the dice that night, Cal Yafai, in an attempt to be great, and he really did try and put a dent in him. And he looked like he was going to in the first couple of rounds, but he was hurt early in the fight, just didn't quite recover. And Chocolatito, so brilliantly as he has done with many of the great fighters of the modern era, ground him down to become world champion again. Yafai now up at 118, and that Yafai is down at 112, pursuing greatness on a fast track after his first Olympic campaign came to an end at the hands of one of the Cubans in 2016. Waited so patiently for 5 years for his opportunity to shine in Tokyo, and boy, didn't he do that. We went through the list of fighters that he beat en route to gold. Yusbali Veitio, a 200-fight Cuban veteran, world gold medalist, multiple-time world champion as well. Seiken Bibosimov, he went on to win the world championships after Yafai had beaten him in Tokyo. He really did have just about as tough a run as he could have asked for en route to gold. Was one of the standout fighters in against Gohan Rodriguez Garcia from Mexico on Saturday night. Can he get the rounds in that he needs in this fast-track apprenticeship? Young Akib Fiaz, who I mentioned on Before the Bell, and Campbell Hatton, both campaigning at 135, used to trained at the same gym in the very early stages of their amateur careers at Northside in Manchester. They know each other well, and they said they'll try and get together for a little bit of sparring next year. Makes a bit of sense. The teams are very, very friendly up in the north. Matthew Hatton, Ricky Hatton, of course, Jamie Moore and Nigel Travis as well. So Campbell Hatton both and Aki Fowers as well will both be in action on Before the Bell, looking to go, I think it's 9 and 10-0 respectively. And this is, well, third from the top of the bill and could certainly be one of the fights of the night as well. The IBF vacant super featherweight world title that Joe Cordina was stripped of after declaring that injury after one of the knockouts of the year, could well be the knockout of the year. We've only got a few weeks left over Kenichi Ogawa, and that title vacant. Zelfa Barrett boxed on that undercard, won the European title that night as well, in probably the performance of his career to date. But that is a very, very dangerous man under the guidance of one of the great offensive boxing trainers in the modern era, Freddie Roach. A little bit of size and reach advantage, Zelfa Barrett. But mindset is everything going into these kind of contests. He only had 6 weeks of preparation, but what he has had, which I think we agreed is probably as important as just an extra couple of weeks of the camp that maybe he could have needed if he was to have ideal prep, is good 12-round competition in the build-up to this fight.
You could, I was just thinking there could be a chance that Zelfa Barrett has his Joe Cordina moment and completely shocks the world. Cordina was well up against Ogawa and he just found that tremendous shot. Could Zelfa Barrett find another shot that dismantled Eric Donovan? Who knows? You know, he's going to have to get Rakimov's respect. He's going to have to land something of note. He's going to get pushed back, but he can't give up too much ground. So he's going to have to land some big shots.
Both fighters very, very dangerous with the left-hand Rakimov, of course, a southpaw, so that backhand, but Zelfa Barrett on the ropes. If you come in and that right hand drifts, that catch counter left hook, exactly. We can do some damage with that. It's a brilliant, brilliant fighting prospect. Before we head into our chief support, and the only fight this week really where there's been anything like a war of worlds. It's all been very, very civil indeed, but it's been a little bit of back and forth between McCaskill and Chantel Cameron. Ring Magazine belt belonging to the Brit as it stands, and a couple of the belts are vacant as it stands because they are titles that were vacated, of course, by Kaylee Reese. She just forays into the world of acting at the end of this year, and good luck to her. I wonder whether she'll like a crack at the winner here. Undisputed titles on the line at £140. We saw Katie Taylor defend the lightweight undisputed title at 135 at the weekend just gone in London. Could the winner of this be in line for the pound-for-pound number one at some point in the new year? It would look likely. Taylor would love to come up and challenge for these titles. Will it be this woman from Chicago or this woman from the UK? No love lost between them, and they will go to battle over 10 two-minute rounds on Saturday night from the UAE, live on the Zone. I think fireworks all but guaranteed in our chief support on Saturday night. So for those of you just joining us, welcome. We've just concluded the undercard press conference here in Abu Dhabi. We're going to be hearing shortly from our main eventers. After one of the wins of the year, Dmitry Bivol back in action against another Mexican fighter looking to cement his legacy as the best light heavyweight in world boxing.
Bivol must win to land that Canelo Alvarez rematch, and maybe he'll want to go on and fight for undisputed as well, but Zurdo may be looking for the victory to push his own narrative for a Canelo Alvarez fight. So much in play on so many levels. Pound for pound great in Dmitry Bivol against a fantastic undefeated fighter in Zurdo Ramirez. Such an important fight for the division, such an important fight for boxing. A huge undercard with plenty of World Championship action. The perfect way to kick off the Champions Series in Abu Dhabi.
Well, what a night that was. Cinco de Mayo, one of the coveted dates in boxing, and Dmitry Bivol made it his own. I think underrated and written off by the majority going into that fight. And for me, it didn't really say much about how people rated Bivol. I think it said more about how few people had actually watched his fights. His last 8 have gone 12 rounds. I think sometimes he's been so comfortable. He's not a fighter that people necessarily think this is going to be fireworks, because he's been so in control. And actually, Dan Canovia from CompuBox tweeted earlier, and unfortunately I haven't got the stats to hand, but he's lost literally a handful of rounds in his last 80. He's dominated everyone. He's out-jabbed everybody, outlanded everybody in every round for the last 6 or 7 fights. And there aren't many fighters in world boxing. You have to think back to people like Mayweather. When you think about losing rounds and consistency, he has got to be right up there with the top fighters on the planet, and that's why he is a favourite going into Saturday.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I guess some of the question marks around Bivol, if I just pick out one fight back home in England when he fought Craig Richards. Yep. Craig Richards, a domestic fighter, yet to probably hit
and an underrated
his
domestic fighter.
He's underrated.
Yeah.
He's very tough to beat. We see him against Joshua Buatsi, and we know how good Buatsi is.
There wasn't a lot in that, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's been people saying that Bivol might have not been at the races, etc., but I think that does Craig Richards a bit of discredit. Nonetheless, I think it was a performance like that and a couple of others where people thought, well, is this Bivol the real deal or not? And he's gone over to Vegas and he's completely ripped up the script. Won comfortably, looks good, and that self-belief that we speak about was so impressive.
Stylistically, the Mexicans that he will face by the time he wakes up Sunday morning, win or lose, will have been completely different fighters. I mean, Gilberto Ramirez, a 6'3", southpaw, a natural light heavyweight, somehow coming up from super middle. First time I saw him was against Maxim Vlasov. I think it was 2015, and a reminder of A, how much he's improved as a fighter, B, just how big he was as a super middleweight. He's managed to somehow stay at 6'8" for about another 4 more years after that fight. But Vlasov, very, very good and an underrated fighter as well, and stylistically different to Bivol, taller, rangier, but they both have those light gliding feet in and out.
Yeah.
But one thing he did early, which he always does, land that strong left hand to the body, and he slowed Vlasov's feet down, and then he was able to get to work. If he's going to have a chance in this fight, because he's a good volume puncher, he's got to take the feet and the legs away from Bivol.
100%. You took the words out of my mouth. The shots to the body with that left hand were so impressive. I love the way he changed the levels with the shots. He's very unpredictable, and I think at the top level that's exactly what you've got to be. You can't let Bivol get comfortable because he will get into a rhythm and he'll be very tough to beat. So this man, he's got to be dominant on the front foot. I think he's got to be unpredictable, like I say, and he has to try and find that rear hand also. He's got to try and put a dent in Bivol. It's going to be very difficult because, like you say, the way he glides out of range and then he's straight back in. We see that against Canelo. That was very impressive as well. They're in and out. You know, the bread and butter, the basics of boxing. You know, they say the jab can take you around the world. Your feet can also do that. Not only can it help you offensively.
If you Darren Barker helicopters take you around the world now. But
no, they take me around the UAE,
yeah,
Chris.
Yeah, the short trip from Abu Dhabi to Dubai anyway. But of course, for him, if he's going to exert pressure, he's going to have to potentially walk through the hands of Dmitry Bivol. People always talk about him as not being a puncher. He's got a knockout ratio of something around 50-60%. He doesn't really try and knock fighters out. He's happy to finesse him.
It's the way he throws shots is effortless.
But you hear the thud on the pads. If he couldn't punch, Canelo Alvarez would have walked straight through him, and he simply couldn't and wouldn't do that. The same with Craig Richards and the last 6 or 7 fighters that he has fought. How will Ramirez react when that first hand lands? It's got to be one of the big questions. What kind of reaction will he get? Will it cause hesitation? Because if he causes hesitation for a fighter like Ramirez to let his hands go, then he's almost one up in the chess match before the fight has even begun. But the fighters, as you can see, sat down with Eddie Hearn. No doubt I'll get the words in my ear when they are ready, and we'll hear from them all. But this is a big night for the fighters in our main event, WBA Light Heavyweight Championship on the line. Can this man become a 2-weight world champion, or will Dmitry Bivol notch up another huge win in what is potentially the seminal year of his career? Could be in for a Fighter of the Year shout if he is dispatched of Canelo Alvarez and Zurdo Ramirez here in 2022. We'll find out on Saturday night live on The Zone from the UAE. Both fighters are standing by, as is Eddie Hearn.
Hello and welcome back to the main event press conference. This Saturday night at the Etihad Arena, live on The Zone around the world, we have one of the best fights in boxing. The beginning of the Champion Series, the start of a new era of boxing here in Abu Dhabi with Matchroom Boxing, the DCT. It's quite incredible to think that when the WBA ordered this fight, it was just 8 weeks ago that we concluded this deal. The work that has gone in to Fight Week, the work that has gone into the preparation of this fight, this is just the start of a long-term partnership between Matchroom and DCT to change the face of boxing here. As I said earlier, from grassroots, inspiring the younger generation to participate in the great sport of boxing, to developing the amateur scene, world champions, Olympic champions from this region, opportunities for professional fighters to flourish on the global scene, and bringing some of the best fight nights, the best fighters here to Abu Dhabi. In my opinion, this will become a premier destination for boxing. And I can't thank the DCT, everybody in Abu Dhabi for their help, their support. We're going to have an incredible crowd on Saturday night in the Emirates Arena, the Etihad Arena, sorry, an incredible atmosphere, and we cannot wait to get underway. Firstly, I want to go over to the golden boy himself, legend of the sport of boxing, Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar. I said earlier, you know, and I've seen you be very vocal on social media the last 24 hours, we're just not getting some of the great fights in boxing. But on Saturday night, we are getting them, and we should really celebrate this tremendous fight.
Sure. No, absolutely. Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate it. First of all, Saleh Mohammed, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate the opportunity for having us. Abu Dhabi, Matchroom Boxing, The Zone, obviously. We appreciate your support and your platform, which is bringing the global sport, the sport that we all love, to gladiators, the best at 175, live from Abu Dhabi. Doesn't get any better than this. Zurdo Ramirez took the hard road, the long road. He had to fight 2 eliminators to get to this position. Zurdo Ramirez is a fighter who is undefeated, a fighter who is hungry, a fighter who is going to show you exactly what Mexican boxing is all about here in Abu Dhabi. And that's why everyone should be excited against a fighter in Bivol who is excellent. I love Bivol. His style is bar none one of the best in the business. I believe that Bivol, coming off a tremendous win against Canelo, another Mexican superstar, in his last fight, was a tremendous showing. He did a great job. But I do have to say that Zurdo Ramirez is no Canelo. Zurdo Ramirez is a fighter who throws punches and bunches, a fighter who is big and strong and heavy and southpaw, and who is going to be very active. So this is the opportunity of a lifetime for Zurdo Ramirez. This is the opportunity of a lifetime for boxing to be on the big stage and show the world what Abu Dhabi is, show the world what big-time boxing is. And Eddie, yes, to show the world that promoters can come together and stage the big fights. I was pretty active last night on social media, but for a reason, because we need these big fights to happen. And so I'm very proud of Bivol. I'm very proud of Zurdo Ramirez for fighting each other, for showing the world and the fans across the globe that fighters are not afraid of each other. Fighters are willing to fight the very best. It's the people behind the scenes that must stand up and show up and make sure that we give the fans the best fights possible. So thank you, DAZN, again. Thank you, Abu Dhabi, and thank you, Eddie Hearn. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Oscar, and thank you as well to Eric Gomez, Robert Diaz, your great team at Golden Boy as well, for all their work in putting this fight together. We go over to Dmitry Bivol's manager, Vadim Kornilov. Vadim, I guess when we talk about fighters and their journeys and their humble beginnings, we should also remember how hard you guys and World of Boxing have worked to get Dmitry Bivol in this position. For many years, as a fighter fighting internationally, particularly in the US market, you guys have been hustling, sometimes taking the short end to get him to the position that you believed he deserved to be in. And you always believed that if he got the opportunity, he would go on and deliver. He did that, of course, on Cinco de Mayo against Canelo Alvarez. We now see Dmitry Bivol on the pound-for-pound list. Probably more pressure on him than this fight than ever before, because he is a star now. But we feel as a team that there are many more levels to see from Dmitry Bivol.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Yes, 100%. Any fighter has to go through a very long road to get to the top. And as a team, it's been part of our strategy to make sure that we look at the end goal and we don't, look at this at every point of the way. It's kind of looking at having a vision of what's at the end. And I appreciate that, you guys have always been there for us, and basically most of Dmitry's career, Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, Frank Smith have been a big part of this, and the entire team. World of Boxing, RCC Boxing, main events. There's been many promoters and many entities involved, and it's always been our view that we all work as a team, and we all just try to get to the end point. And Dmitry and I just spoke about this a couple of days ago. This is probably going to be the first fight where Dmitry is going to be having most of the arena back him and root for him in this fight. And I think that's the new level that he got to from the last fight. And I think it adds a lot of responsibility. And we've been thinking about that and making sure that that doesn't affect him in any way. Other than that, we just wanted to also mention that we've been here for a month now. Abu Dhabi feels like home. Everything that all of the people, Mr. Saleh and everybody who's been involved, Matchroom as well, everything that's been done for us, we don't want to leave. It's been very welcoming. Cobra Gym as well. It's just a pleasure being here and having camp here, and everything went very smoothly. I appreciate that very much. Other than that, I want to thank Gilberto Ramirez, Oscar De La Hoya and his team. This fight has been cooking up some time. It's been back and forth conversations and talk and press. And this Saturday night, you know, hopefully the fireworks will come for Abu Dhabi and everybody involved. I really hope it will be an exciting fight. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Vadim. Yeah, I think important to stress as well that Dmitry Bivol has been here for 1 month, came for the press conference, loved what he saw, and returned virtually straight away to have most of his camp here in Abu Dhabi. And obviously, our job as part of our partnership with DC is to show the world on a global platform how great it is in Abu Dhabi. But I think I speak from my heart, from Dmitry's heart, from Zurdo's heart as well. This has been an incredible journey and experience for us to be here, to operate in here, to stage events here, to come to rest, relax, train. You know, truly one of the great destinations worldwide. So thank you to everybody in Abu Dhabi, the DCT, and everybody that's helped be part of this journey for us so far. We go to the fighters. Zurdo Ramirez, you have a great team of people here from Golden Boy and from the gym. For a long time, we've seen you looking to become a two-time, two-division world champion, 44 wins, no defeats. The whole of Mexico behind you on Saturday night. Your time to make history. You truly believe you are crowned WBA light heavyweight champion of the world on Saturday night.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Eddie. And I really believe that I can become two-time world champion this Saturday. And I want to say thank you, thank God, thank Oscar, everyone to be here, my team, all the press media, and the Dmitry Bivol team too, for make the fight happen. And it's exciting for me to came from Mazatlan, Mexico, and be here in Abu Dhabi, and same weather. I feel like at home, and I've been training hard for this fight, and I will take the belt this Saturday, that's for sure. 44 try, 44 fail, and I mean it's exciting. I hope that the people enjoy the fight, because this is the type of the fight that the fans they have to see for boxing.
Obviously, we know the heart, the excitement in Mexico. You're already a big star there, but this fight seen globally, a lot of people are going to be tuning in from Mexico and across America as well. A big opportunity for you to become one of the big pound-for-pound stars in boxing.
Well, right now I just see like become two-time world champion. I don't see like become a boxing star. It's like my goal is like become two-time world champion, and eventually to continue to my legacy and be a legend. That's my goal. That's what I'm to give for all the people, for the fans, and all the kids to believe themselves that everything that you can do, like you want to do, you can do it.
And finally, I know that support will be there in huge numbers from Mexico at the weekend. I think maybe just a few words in Spanish to your Mexican fans that will be tuned into this stream right now and who will be cheering you on. Some in the arena on Saturday night as well, but particularly at home in Mexico.
Yes, of course. Muchas gracias a toda la gente por el apoyo. No se pierdan la pelea, noviembre 5. Me voy a convertir el próximo campeón del mundo. Dedicarle esta pelea a todos los mexicanos, a los latinos sobre todo. Y arriba México, cabrones.
Ladies and gentlemen, the challenger on Saturday night, Zurdo Gilberto Ramirez. Dmitry Bivol, the champion, 175-pound WBA light heavyweight champion. Life has changed for you. Maybe you don't feel it, you don't see it. I know you're still the same man, but all of a sudden you become a target. For many years you've been the hunter. You're now the hunted, pound-for-pound star, world champion. And on Saturday night, the biggest night of your career so far, I would say, even beyond the Canelo Alvarez fight, things change for you, and a big opportunity here in Abu Dhabi to defend your world championship belt.
Hello, everybody. I want to say, first of all, thank you to Abu Dhabi government, Department of Tourism and Culture for this opportunity for me to introduce boxing in Abu Dhabi. Thank you to you, Eddie, and Gilberto Ramirez and his team, everyone who involved in this fight. Thank you, my team. I really have a big trip to get this belt, and I don't want to leave it. You know, I will fight for this, and I want to keep it, and I want more. I feel I have something inside of me which I need to realize and be happy to the end of my career. And what about this camp? I had 3 locations everywhere. I had a great camp, and the last location, it was Abu Dhabi. I'm here since September 27th, and I feel like I had everything what I need for training. And when I thought about resting, I had everything for rest here too. And when I met some people in the gym, in the mall where I was working, and they were really happy. I thought it's only me, because people were very welcoming to me and my team, but no, the people welcoming to every tourist here, and it's good. I'm looking forward to Saturday night, and I believe it will be exciting fight, and Abu Dhabi will make more boxing fights, and maybe boxing will be the main sport in Abu Dhabi. It will be great. I hope it will be, because this is my favorite sport in the world. I want to be everywhere, and people knows this sport. It's great. And thank you, everyone.
Just the final question to you, Dmitry, and your English is amazing, by the way. Well done, it's incredible. Over the years, you've been looking for these opportunities. We saw some footage of you recently as a young boy, sparring with dreams to become world champion, to become a great in the sport of boxing. Now that you are there, now that you are on the pound for pound list, now that you have beaten the pound for pound #1, now that you are boxing worldwide and filling arenas around the world, is the fire still just as strong in your heart that it was when you were that young boy in the gym? You love this sport. This is just the beginning, but you want this just as much now than you did back then.
Of course, when people say me, oh, you achieve everything, it's like they put the water on my fire. And I try to think about only my dream, to realize my all potential. And I try to be hungry and angry every time, and be focused on trainings, on my opponents. And I try to think about that this Saturday night, it will be hardest fight in my career. It makes me more focused on the fight.
Well, thank you, Dmitry. An incredible champion, WBA light heavyweight champion against the challenger, 44-0, former super middleweight world champion, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Again, just to echo Oscar's words, this incredible sport sometimes gets starved of tremendous matchups. On Saturday night, we should celebrate not just the start of this incredible journey in Abu Dhabi, but one of the best fights in boxing. 2 undefeated fighters that had no problem fighting each other. And I believe you will see one of the fights of 2022 this Saturday in the Etihad Arena, and one of the cards of the year as well. As I said, incredible crowd expected at the Etihad Arena. Tomorrow we will weigh in at the Cafe Del Mar. Wait till you see everything down there. The whole week has been a breath of fresh air for boxing. Just the beginning of this incredible journey. We look forward to seeing you at the weigh-in tomorrow, and of course on Saturday night at the Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi, and live and exclusive on DAZN all around the world. Thank you so much for your support. The fighters will face off now, and they'll be available to the media, and we look forward to an incredible next couple of days. Thank you to everybody for your support. We cannot wait for an incredible night and the world to see on Saturday night. Thank you.
Well, from victory on Cinco de Mayo to victory on November 5th, Darren Barker, is this going to be 45-0 for that man, the former super middleweight world champion Gilberto Ramirez, or will Dmitry Bivol extend his unbeaten run to 21-0? What's your instinct heading into Saturday night?
I'm with Bivol. I feel he's proven at the higher level, but it's one of those I'd be far from shocked if Ramirez was to win. He's a very good fighter, he's huge, he's naturally aggressive, physically strong, he knows how to box. Obviously you don't get to 44-0. It's just that level, that elite level, that we're just a little unsure about. Whereas Bivol, we're 100% certain this guy is the real deal. But I have no doubt during this fight, in stages, and I think there'll be quite a few of those, it's going to be fireworks.
Bivol hasn't fought a southpaw since Chicago's Samuel Clarkson back in 2017. Not a bad fighter, Clarkson, but not world level, and a very different type of southpaw to Ramirez. And you could see on the wide shot there just the size discrepancy between them, and we'll see it again. Bivol looks strong, stocky, but Ramirez has got the height and reach. Can he keep that range? I mean, for a tall fighter, he doesn't fight particularly tall, and he likes to get up close, he likes to trade. He's got good levers, he is a volume puncher, but nobody's outlanded Bivol in a number of fights in almost any round that he's had since he's been fighting at championship level. How will he react when he's hit with that first right hand? And how will he react when that left hand lands to the body early? Can Zurdo Ramirez take the legs away of one of the best movers, if not the best mover, at light heavyweight in Dmitry Bivol? Fascinating encounter this, and a really, really good fight. Live on DAZN Saturday night, exclusively around the world from the Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi. Who will blink first? Ramirez has been relaxed all week, two super laid-back characters, but all that will be put aside for up to 36 minutes of championship action for the WBA light heavyweight title on DAZN Saturday night. Zurdo Ramirez challenges Dmitry Bivol. The handshake at last as these two get together. Some big fights on the undercard as well. Vacant super featherweight world title with the IBF vacant for Zelfa Barrett and Shavkat Rakhimov. Chantal Cameron and Jess McCaskill will of course contest the 140-pound undisputed titles as well in a surefire cracker in our chief support as well. Galaria fight and Carrier fight in action too.
What a card.
What a card indeed. So final pick for you, Dmitry Bivol. Points, are we saying?
I'm going points. Yeah, I think there'll be only a few rounds in it, but I think it's going to be a brilliant fight. It's going to show us a bit of everything. There's going to be technical brilliance on display. There's going to be power punching. There's going to be fireworks. And I'm just leaning towards Bivol in what will be not just a fantastic main event, a fantastic card.
What a fight we've got in prospect. All live Saturday night. We'll be here tomorrow afternoon if you're watching in the UK for the press conference, beg your pardon, for the weigh-in. As always, the fighters will hit the scales, face each other before they face each other in the ring on Saturday night, live from Abu Dhabi on DAZN. From Chris Lloyd here with Darren Barker. Thanks for your company this afternoon. Wherever you're watching around the world, we will see you at the weigh-in tomorrow afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. It's now time for the featured bout of the evening. From the four corners of the world to the four corners of this ring, the fight